Good morning. I'm Marcus Jackman. I'm the pastor at Copper Hills Church in Harriman, Utah. Just a reminder of something that we saw in our passage and worship and sermon yesterday at Copper Hills Church. We looked at what it means to be firm in the faith. And one of the questions that I've always had and struggled with, frankly, is how can I know if I have enough faith? What is it to be firm in the faith? I mean, how can, as Jesus said in his Gospels, how can a mustard seed's worth of faith, how can that do the trick? How will I know if I have enough or the right kind of faith or a strong enough faith to be able to endure? How will I know if I will be firm in the faith? And from our passage yesterday in 1 Peter chapter 5, as we come close to the end of the series in 1 Peter, that passage points that problem out. It says, "Be sober-minded, be watchful. Your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking someone to devour. Resist him, firm in your faith, knowing that the same kinds of suffering are being experienced by your brotherhood throughout the world." What is it to be firm in my faith there? I'm supposed to resist my enemy, the devil, with a firmness of faith. Well, how could a mustard seed do it? How can I know that I have enough or the right kind or quality of faith to be able to resist him? Well, I want to remind you of what Peter's written throughout this particular letter and also what we see across the scriptures. The strength of faith is not about you as an individual. At least not just about you as an individual. The strength of faith is determined by the object of faith. Resist him, firm in your faith that what God has said is true. Your trust that what God has done, what Jesus has accomplished, is real and true, and that you will choose to rely upon that. For that kind of faith, you only need a mustard seed. So I want to encourage you today on a cold Monday morning, at least around where we are right now. The firmness of your faith is determined by the object of your faith, because the triumph of that faith is determined by the author of that faith. That is to say, you can resist your enemy, firm in the faith that Christ is the one who authors your faith, who gives you faith by his Holy Spirit, that the triumph of Jesus on the cross and in the empty tomb is available for those who come to him in neediness, in trust, in desperation, who just call upon his name, that victory is available. He is the object of your faith. And to be anchored to him by even the slimmest of tethers is to be anchored to the rock that will not move. Even a mustard seed will suffice for that when it is lodged upon the rock eternal. The firmness of your faith, to resist your enemy and resist his lies. The firmness of your faith is determined by the truth, what God has said. Be firm in that faith. So when Peter says, be sober-minded and watchful, he means, I want you to think clearly. I want you to be alert and aware of what's going on and the lies the enemy is going to press in on you. And what do we do if we are alert, if we're sober-minded and thinking clearly? He says, then you will know and you will remember that what God has declared over you can be relied upon. Because God has given you promises. God has established you. God has made you his own in the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus and united you to him by your faith. You may resist the enemy's lies and be at peace today. Go in that peace, go in that joy, go in the certainty that even a mustard seed of faith resting on the rock eternal is firm. Bless you.